Broadway's biggest night just a few weeks away. And now we're getting to know this year's Tony nominees. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Thanks, Tamsin. Brandon Jacobs-Jenkins' play, Appropriate, was nominated for 8 Tony Awards, including nods for the entire creative team. I sat down with director Lila Neugebauer and one of the set designers, Kimie Nishikawa, from the design collective Dots, to talk about this powerful play and its surprise epilogue. Thank you for welcoming me to the set of Appropriate. And congratulations on 8 Tony nominations, both for the play, for you two, and for the whole design team, which does not happen that often. So tell me, what was appealing to you about working on this play?
I saw the very first production of this play back at Actors Theater of Louisville at the Humana Festival of New American Plays back in 2013. And I remember being totally gobsmacked by this play, by its intense muscularity and hilarity, the ferocity of the characterizations, the scope of Brandon's imagination. Brandon and I started talking about the idea of bringing this play to Broadway during the pandemic. So it's been a journey in our friendship and a journey in our collaboration, and intensely gratifying to bring this play back to New York now.
Can you tell me, Kimie, about some of the ideas that were discussed in the beginning about creating a visual sense for this show?
You know, we use the word living room play. Like, this is actually a living room play. So we are going to make a house that is also another character. This house is just talked about throughout from the beginning. And of course, in the end, it has to totally transform. We really went deep into the primary research of what these plantation homes in Arkansas are, and even little details like, you know, in the beginning of the play, the characters have to come through a window, but even that, it was important that the window was high because the plantation homes usually are on higher foundations. And of course, what kind of hoarding is it? Like, there's of course the wet cat food left over for 2 weeks type of hoarding, but then this is not that. So being specific about that, and then of course specific about where the other rooms are. We only see really the living room and the upstairs, but the layout of the whole house was very important so that we feel the rest of the world.
Now, I should say you are representing the design collective Dots, which was nominated for 2 Tonys this season. Tell me what that is, just so people understand. When they look at their playbill, they're just going to see the word Dots.
Yes, so Dots, we're a design collective of myself and Andrew Mordake and Santiago Laverde. The 3 of us all went to NYU grad, design for stage and film, and also all 3 of us are non-US citizens, so also that kind of brought us together, the visa struggle. So Tony nominations will help with that. And we work together. The 3 of us decided during the pandemic, why are we working individually? Why are we being competitive? We should, combine our strengths and support each other. And that's where it came from, the struggle through the pandemic.
Part of the real pleasure of working with Dots, and I think you feel this in the way that Kimie just described their process, and I think you see the evidence around you. This reflects a real ground plan of an actual home that Dots found specific to the period and the region. And at the same time, there is such bold sense of the theatrical in this design team, and there is an ability to pull from that research to pick out that which will sing out theatrically so clearly and robustly. 3 out of the 4 departments on this show, the designers are not American. Dots, Jane Cox, and Didi Aiti. And I actually do think there has been something about the conversation about what this play has to say as an American play and as an American story that has been deeply enriched by the international perspective of this design team.
That's fascinating. So really coming at it with fresh eyes and fresh research. But I want to talk a little bit about something you said, which is that this set or this place is like a character. And we really feel that, especially with the epilogue. Tell me how you envisioned that, how you worked on it.
On the page, Brandon has written something which I think in our initial reading of it collectively is about time. We don't know how much time is passing, but these are sort of increments of time that are separated or interpolated by blackouts, which are a kind of like redacted space. It also becomes apparent, I think, at the outset of that epilogue, that this house has been a character this whole time. And essentially, I think of the house as sort of becoming our protagonist when the epilogue begins, and sort of our host when the epilogue begins. It's a real interdepartmental dream ballet. Just like the tremendous imaginative lift that Dots did to conceive of how to move through a series of moments, some of which are specifically specified by the writer, and some of which we dreamed up together. I think it was also apparent to us that it is a kind of musical event, which from a durational perspective has to have a kind of internal logic and a certain kind of rigor in terms of how time is organized.
Well, Kimie, you also mentioned that there's a certain kind of hoarder, and even as I'm looking at some of the details, they're very specific. So can you just give us an idea of any Easter eggs or any thoughts that you and your collaborators had about specific things that you wanted in this space?
Mm-hmm. So an important piece of information is that this father we never see but is talked about wanted to open a bed and breakfast in this home. Very early on decided on it's a multiple of things. The hoarding is about, okay, this man wanted to make it a bed and breakfast. What does that mean? Maybe 6 toasters and just multiple board games. My favorite one is the deer head over there on stage right. So that's where we really tried to think about what this man wanted, because for this man, there was a logic to it. Even from the audience, it might just seem like, oh my God, this man is crazy. Like, what is all this hoarding? But everything had a reason. He really thought there's a use for each thing, I think. So we were very careful to think through that.
Tell me what you're most proud of now that the play has been running for a while and we're near the end of the season here. What makes you swell up with pride?
That my students want to see it. Because I think that's when young people want to see a show, see a theater show, I think that's when you have something that's really special.
All theatrical production is a collective effort. It's the nature of it. It is such a particular expression of an ensemble effort. I think you see that with the cast's work on stage. There is a kind of miraculous chemistry between the human beings who assemble to perform this play every night, and in the context of the work we are describing today, the fruits of the interdepartmental effort. So I think I feel proud of what a true and robust collective effort I feel this production is.